Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning and welcome. I'm so happy that you come to Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace, and hang on to your children. Yes, that's right, CPS. That's a terrible, terrible acronym or a terrible, terrible agency that a lot of you are trapped in. And I'm really so sorry. I once was myself. What I call CPS is I call it the Child Protection System. Every state, every county will have different names. Like in Arizona's Department of Children's Services. Even in counties in the same state, they be different, like LA County Department of Children and Family Services. But in Orange County, it's the Child Protection System. And in Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. Whatever the thing is, when I say CPS, I refer to all of them. The Child Protection Systems everywhere, worldwide. Now, you found me on Facebook, and I'm glad you found me and you joined me here. I'm on the StreamYard application broadcast on YouTube. And you just heard from my attorney, Mr. Davis, who has a new video out that talks a little bit about what he likes to do and so forth. In my rule number 1, I say you need to get an attorney. And I wish all of you could get Mr. Davis. But I know finances are a major concern to you. When I had my case, they were too. I had to sacrifice my home that I paid for and bought 45 years have gone down the drain. But that's part of the circle of life. We all in this big circle that goes around and around. We don't know when we're going to die. We don't know how long we're going to live. God has a plan for us. I know that. And I try to, and I want to live a long time. But unfortunately, you're in this hands called CPS, and I'm going to try to help you. I'm a family man, a loving father. You know, I've raised 8 children, and I have 42 years of marriages. And I'm one of these people that very dedicated to the family. I take it seriously. Unfortunately, a lot of you have got caught up because you too love your family. And this terrible agency, I don't know how else to describe them. They are so vicious and they are not transparent. They lie. They will children. They will traffic your children. They will alienate your children. All that's against the law. CPS is the only organization I know that can legally traffic children. and he uses on the crutches of on the crutches of what they find through neglect and abuse. Congress mandated that there is a part of social service that protects our children. And that's what CPS is. It's a bunch of social workers. They're not trained, they're not skilled, they're not licensed. Not all of them are licensed, not all of them are skilled with college degrees or experience. And it's a trillion-dollar business, so money is a big factor to them. And it didn't help when President Clinton decided to do the Incentive Act and pass that. And that was where they give extra money to these CPSs to put children in foster care. They said reunification is taking too long. So now you don't do reunification. But it should be reunification because the best parents that proven are the biological parents. If they screwed up and did something wrong, there's a parenting class they can take or a program. The child protection system should be repairing families and supporting families. Not only they're supposed to protect from abuse, neglect, they're also supposed to help out with food, shelter, clothing, transportation, medical, educational, and even find you a job. That's the primary purpose of them. They're supposed to help all our people. We have still hungry people in the United States that go hungry. We have 1,000 children that go unreported that should have been reported, that are abused, that are killed. Over 500,000 children that CPS is investigating. And a lot of them are bogus. I've talked to so many of you from far and wide. I mean, from Bangladesh to India to the Middle East to Africa to Europe, across the pond to North America, South America, then across the Pacific to Australia, New Zealand. Approximately 18 different countries I've talked to. And these people text the same problems that we're having in the United States. I've talked to over 700 people. And I've talked to everyone in every state, including Washington, D.C. I've talked to families from all kinds of different backgrounds. Even the first immigrants are Native American Indians. I've talked to lots of tribes. The Osage in Oklahoma, the Lakota Sioux, and the Rose Bowl Reservation. And it seems like the common thing that everybody has is CPS took my kids when I didn't do anything wrong or they were in danger. See, CPS has a habit is that when someone reports you, like a layperson, they believe it's true. And automatically they come out and take your kids. They ask you, we need to take your children. You don't know the laws. And so you say yes, that gives them permission. But if you said no, my rule number 3 says you do not let them take your kids. You do not let them in your home. You do not talk to them. You do not talk to them. CPS cannot be trusted. Now, I see that you've joined my room, and this is one thing you can do in this room. There are 3 other things you can do to interact with this room. And I'll put them on the screen. All you have to do is you can text a message. Identify yourself and tell your story completely. Also, you can be a guest on my podcast. All you need to do is write my show producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com. I'm on 14 times a week, twice a day, morning and night. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night. The only exceptions to that is on Saturday and Sunday, I come on at 8 o'clock. Saturday is Vincent's 9:30 question and answers podcast. Please join that. And Sunday, I go to church. Otherwise, I'm on here. I've never missed a holiday. I did my Thanksgiving with you guys. You guys are my family, all of you. I care about you. I really feel for you. It's terrible what you're going through, the pain. So many people called me the last couple of days. There was 5 people from Merced County in California that were in terrible shape. There's so many of you from Montana to St. Louis, Missouri to Pennsylvania. And you guys are crying out. A mother lost her child in foster care. And this child that they lost was found dead in a ball pit. A ball pit is where they have all these styrofoam balls that kids like to play in. Only trouble is this child was only 8 months old, couldn't even walk. So he was killed playing in there, and that was under the child protection system supervision. I hate to tell you, not only is the child protection system corrupt, so is the foster care system. I have a really remarkable lady in Richmond, Kentucky. She's a single mom in her 40s, and she's trying her best to deal with life. Unfortunately, as her childhood, she was 5 times in and out of foster care, where she was abused, molested, and raped, and sex trafficking. Her mom even tried to take her child away because she wanted the money. You see, it's all about money. It's all about money. She is blessed to somehow got a high school degree and a college degree in nursing. And she's trying to get guardianship of her young son because he's a special needs boy. But they still, we talk about drones in New Jersey. I know Faye will tell you about the drones in Richmond, Kentucky. I think what it is that people decide to spy on one another. So they send up a drone to take pictures, to listen. They can put a microphone on there and listen to people talking. They can take pictures and fly into crevices and stuff. I think it's Big Brother watching. And I think our President-elect said the correct answer to address the drones. If you don't know who has them up there, then shoot them down. We don't need them up there. We don't need any more of that. Right now, drones are being used right now with Ukraine and Russia, and very devastating results. The drone came in well into Moscow, Russia, hundreds of miles from Ukraine, and blew up one of their top generals. Now, I don't think anybody's going to miss him because he believed in sickening things with people. He was a terrible general. But Putin's all upset. We have it tough here in the United States, but I'm glad we're supporting all these countries because our troops fight other people and we don't have to have them in our country. We've only been attacked once, and that was in 1812 when the British came over and burned the White House down. But I know that we had one of my listeners that said that he didn't want to live here in America anymore. And so I tell you, I'm proud to be American. I'm proud to live here. I've traveled extensively. Over 50 countries I've traveled. I've traveled to almost all the states. Now, I just told you the third way to interact with podcasts. The last way, I'm going to put my number up. It's still early. It's only 14:09. And my number's up there. That means you can call in at 626-698-0990. And I'd love to hear from you. So many of you have called me. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you call me on my phone or you're a guest on my show and you speak, then you're eligible for a 15-minute session with Mr. Davis. And it's a free Zoom meeting, private Zoom meeting with Mr. Davis. They go over anything you want to ask about CPS. So he does try to give something back to the people. I know it's expensive hiring an attorney. And I'm sad to say that the court-appointed attorney are not going to really help you. They don't really care about your case. They don't know how to fight in dependency court because they're only trained in legal matters. They have a caseload of 30 some people because CPS gives them a lot of people. You see, the idea that we're supposed to, our constitutional rights to have an attorney represent us through all legal proceedings. The problem is, I don't think they're thinking about CPS because CPS does not qualify the attorneys. They don't pay them enough, and they're controlled by CPS. So I really don't see you winning your case. I'm not telling you not to use one because that may be your last resort. But sometimes I wonder if maybe pro se is better where you defend it yourself. Because once you have an attorney represent you, you no longer can talk to the judge or talk in court. That's the disadvantages of having a public attorney or a court-appointed attorney, a public defender. Now, it's kind of quiet this morning. It's Wednesday, and I know that most of you probably was a long weekend or whatever the case be. It's the holidays. And the hardest thing about the holidays is we want to be with our children. Christmas and my children always seem to go together. But unfortunately, CPS has a bad habit of ruining your life. I lost my job in 2010 through no fault of my own. I've been trying to get work there, but then for 5 years, I was haggled by the CPS on things that weren't true. I didn't realize that my lay people, which were my in-laws, my wife's mother and father and 3 sisters and brothers, were calling once a week and saying stuff that wasn't true. Then they took my child, they took 2 of my 8 children, or 3 of my 8 children. I'm saying 3. And it was a miserable experience. My kids weren't in danger. See, you're only supposed to take kids when they're in danger. But lately, they take them no matter what. So I really want to really tell you, you have to be careful. You're going to have to get quickly educated to CPS. You cannot trust them. Don't sign anything unless your attorney has advised you to do so. Try to have it so when your children are taken right away, request that a family member, the children stay with them instead of in a foster care. They're not going to like that because they don't get money. But have them stay with a family member. Don't forget to request that. And you try to negotiate. I was hearing from one person in the state, and they let you negotiate at the very onset, meaning that if you suspected things, if you meet with them, agree to some classes, you don't have to go to trial. And they'll do a family reunification. But I'm not sure if that's all true in all states. That was in the state of Michigan. And that's where they have what's called a settlement conference. Now, I know they have a settlement conference in divorce. They want you to go and try to talk it out when divorce. Try to salvage your divorce or try it. Too many people are getting divorced. It's so easy to do. I don't like you. I'm going to divorce you. The road's too tough. I'm going to divorce you. CPS's only purpose for taking our children is not to protect them. It's to make money off your children. They make money. They made $20,000 per child of mine. 3 of them, that's $60,000 a month they were getting from the state, who in turn gets the money from the federal government, who in turn doesn't keep track of the money. They're not very transparent. There are no watchdogs. There's no supervisors or board of directors supervising any of the operations of CPS. Yes, there's a director, but I think that's name only. I don't think the director or any of the other people within the state do anything. Now, these things you're not liking to hear because they're not good to you, but I really like you guys to participate and talking to me with topics to talk about. Now, I touched briefly on rule number 3. The other part's rule number 3 is that the only way they can take your child or enter your home, they have to have a warrant. A warrant is a legal document issued by the court, signed by a judge. It's got to be filled out correctly with the proper dates and stuff. So you got to look at it carefully. A third way they can enter your home or or talk to you is that if there's domestic violence going on, if you're fighting with your spouse or two people are fighting with knives, the kids are in danger, they're going to come into the home. So either you give them permission or domestic violence is going on or a warrant. Those are only three ways they can take your children and come in the home. Now, every place is different, but you got to really be careful because another part of our rule number 3 is trafficking, medical trafficking. What's that, you say? Well, if you're planning to have a child, you go to the hospital to have your child. The next thing you know, you got the social worker and the police that want to take your child still connected to your body. That's wrong. You tell them to get out of there. They need to have a warrant. Furthermore, if you take a child who's sick to emergency, at the hospital or urgent care, and they hear something wrong or perceive something wrong, there's social workers there. They'll step in and take away your child. It's really horrible there. So watch out the medical trafficking, whether you're pregnant or have a sick child. And you certainly do. A good thing to do is when you talk to social workers, be nice to them. Get their name and their number. Check their ID. Check the policeman's badge number. Tell them that you get back to them, but you need to have your attorney present. It's your constitutional rights to have an attorney present. They don't know if you have an attorney or not have an attorney. Then you need to go out and find an attorney, and that's going to be a hard thing for you to do. The main thing is make sure when you ask questions, the first question should be, are you a juvenile family dependence lawyer that has fought CPS in one cases? If the answer is yes, the second question should be, have you ever sued CPS in either state or federal court and won? If the answer is yes, then you got yourself a pit bull of attorney, because that's what you need to look for. Pro se, you get eaten up in court, no matter how good you think you are. And pro bono, I don't know if you find better than the court-appointed attorneys. I've heard so many people be suckered to give them $10, $15, $20, $30,000, and the attorney turned out that didn't know anything. So you got to be careful out there. There's attorneys a dime a dozen. So take up that offer. Talk to Mr. Davis. And if 15 minutes is enough time, I've also negotiated a 30-minute session with them for $60. You look at the bottom of my screen, it's scrolling across. You go to that website, you pay the $60, and then you set up your 30-minute private Zoom meeting with him on there. That way you get there. So you have one for 15 that's free, then one for 30 minutes is $60. And then you got all his podcasts that you can listen to him. And he'll talk to you more than whatever time you set it for. He's not a clock watcher. He really cares. Vincent, my attorney, was once in foster care himself. He knows. Now, I've never been in foster care. I was fortunate to be brought up and didn't deal with that. And it should have been, because my parents argued a lot. And there was domestic violence at the home. And both my parents had a tendency to be alcoholics. Anyway, they try to be good parents. I love them dearly, just like everybody loves their parents. But you got to be careful out there. Now, we have a couple people right now, but no one seems to be talking. So I'll go on with my rules. I try not to repeat myself, but I think it's important that you know these rules. I've already talked about rule 1, that you need to get an attorney. And I've talked about rule 3, where you say no to social workers. Do not give your children, not let them in your home. There's a rule 2 that is organizing your documents. And it's so important to get a notebook, 3-ring notebook with subject dividers and notebook paper. Put all your court stuff in there and organize it. Further, you need to create a very important topic called a timeline incident log. It's where you're going to trace all the incidents from the beginning of your case to where you're at. And you're going to get so many different people. You need to, you need to format this way. The first line is going to be the date, the time, the location, and the people involved. The second line will be a summary of what the incident is all about. And the third line will be the outcome. Now, the outcome may be later on, and you will have to put a space in there. But anyway, you want to do that for each incident, whether it's with the police, the social workers, the school administrators, whoever it may be. You want to get that out and do it. Now, rule number 4 is an easy one. Rule number 4 is that you need to research the internet about your CPS case. It's how you place your wording is what counts. Start off with the city. If it's a major city, you're fine. If it's a small city, you may have to add a major city nearby. So you put a comma. So you have that. And then you're going to put the state. And if you're in a country, you put the country. And then what you want to do after that, you put the letters CPS. Because that's what you want to focus on, all the CPS stuff. And then you go after that, CPS, you put what you're looking for. You describe what you're looking for. And you keep doing that, and you'll get lots of responses. We have someone came in here, Juvie World. Well, welcome, Juvie World. I see it's a Facebook account. How long are you going to be on? Well, I'm on to 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's about 33 minutes. 33 minutes. And then I'm on again in the evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But welcome. If you give me your location, that would be great, and your first name. Okay, we have some people starting to wake up in the room. The weather where I'm at is starting to change. We're starting to get some warmth. Yeah. Oh, welcome, Diane. Thank you very much for giving me your name. And Diane is from San Antonio, Texas. Well, welcome from San Antonio, Texas, Diane. Welcome from San Antonio, Texas. Now, Diane says, what'd she say? I had it up there. Diane says that I'll join back again in the evening. Headed so my CPS therapy services, I can't miss them. That's right. CPS comes first. Well, good luck with it, Diana. Good luck with it, Diana. Now, I lost my phone number. I don't know how I lost it, but anyway. So, Diana's going to come back this evening. I think our other person is going to come back too. So that is fine here. So my number's been up now. I've been open to, I got all the business stuff, the rules and stuff there. I think I have one more left that I've been intermittently talking about. And by the way, when you're doing that research on the internet, after the letter CPS, put in the subject you're looking for, such as how to file a 388 or what is ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act. Those kinds of things you can put in there, and that way you'll find everything. Spend a good 60 hours researching your case on the internet. And my last rule is number 5 is make sure you gather up all your documents and make copies and put them in the envelope and keep that with you. I'm talking about birth certificates, your children and yours. I'm talking about their grade reports. I'm talking about parent classes you should complete or the programs you complete, the certificates. You want to put those in there. You want to put your marriage license in there. But anyway, that envelope you want to have with your notebook. Anytime you're asked, you have the documents there because they will try to suppress documents. So make sure you get them. Make sure you get them. Do not leave when you were born with your child. Do not leave without your child's birth certificate or social security card. That's how bad that CPS is. Now, I haven't talked about Core Digest in a while. And since we don't have too many people asking me questions or calling in or anybody that wants to be a guest yet, I thought I'd go look at Core's Digest. It's an application that has articles about a particular topic, and then it has answers. It's questions and answers. And mine is geared to CPS. So when I go there, it's going to be CPS questions. Let me see what I got here. It's been a while, so let me see here. Okay. I had to put the cord back in, so I move away from my laptop and my image disappears. It's really hard to sit still and not have to adjust your image all the time. Okay. We're about halfway through the show, and so I thought I would go. I'm missing my email folder. I just don't understand this phone sometimes. Email CC. Okay. Okay, I got it back. All right, let's see what they have here. Coors Digest. Okay, now here's a good topic. Let's open it up so it reads more. This person wrote a question. What are some reasons a child would remain in foster care from ages 2 through 18 and not be adopted? Well, Diane, who has 3 biological kids, or Dana, I should say, gave an answer. She says, one case I'm familiar with involved a 15-year-old girl. Her mother was a drug addict and would trade their food stamps for drugs or cash to get drugs. The kids were only able to eat when they were at school. She also disappeared for days, leaving the kids to fend for themselves. When it was discovered they were placed in a foster home, parental rights were terminated a year later. The foster parents offered to adopt her. She was a very shy, sweet, studious girl that really just wanted some peace in her life. She declined because she wanted to go to college, and in that state, if you age out of foster care, you got a full ride scholarship to go to one of the state colleges. She said she didn't need the last name of the foster parents to know how much they loved her. Although I could tell you if she graduated college, last that I knew she graduated high school with honors. Went to college, she went home to her found family for every break, and the foster parents were there for every major event in her life. None of them needed a piece of paper to tell them they were family. And aging out gave her a very good start to make a successful life. Well, that was kind of a heart-wrenching story. I guess that if you remain in foster care, you get your college education at state colleges taken care of. So that was that one there. Again, if you guys will make comments, please do so. Now, here's another question. What are some important facts about CPS and foster care people may not know? Well, Heidi Weber said this. She's a higher education whistleblower and a judge advocate for CPS. Anyway, CPS does not have the same power as law enforcement. They cannot arrest anyone. They can't even come in your home without your permission. And if you tell them to leave your property, they have to. CPS's main job duty is to investigate reports of abuse or neglect of children, and if necessary, report their findings and recommendations with the family court. The judge decides on the orders. CPS only gets paid when they determine a child needs their services. Basically, they don't get paid to find families are okay or help them stay together without putting through more work and stress in order to prolong the need for CPS to be involved. You know, that's sad because right now there's no money for family reunification. There's no money for the social workers to help the family or help the children, help the family get together. All the money is if they're put in foster care, they're paid. And for special needs, they are paid. So it's sad. It's all about money. It's all about money. Now, children are 7 times more likely to be sexually and physically abused in foster care than the same child who's lived in their own home. 7 times. And I've talked to so many of you that have been abused in foster care, which is really sad, which is really, really sad. Now, children who've been in U.S. foster care are significantly more likely to experience learning disabilities, development delays, depression, anxiety, behavior issues, asthma, and obesity, as well as hearing, vision, and speech impairments than those who have not, says study co-author Kirsten Turney, Association of Professor of Sociology. Well, that is really pretty sad. Now, here's another question, and I think we have someone that said something. Oh, great. We have Diane back. How are you going to be on? I'm going to be on in another 20 more minutes. Okay. I'm reading your old messages there. Felicia, her handle's Cruel Do Trick. Good morning, Felicia. Glad to see you on my podcast. I was reading about the Cora Digest, some stories about CPS. So what happens if CPS comes to your house for an anonymous tip that neglect has occurred in the household, but nothing was found upon inspection? Do they have to immediately or ask questions first? A mom answered this question. She's a mother of 3. She says, my middle son was almost 2, and he was a chubby baby. We called him Big Daddy. I had applied for WIC. Years ago, you had to bring your children to the appointment. So the ladies asked me what I fed my kid the last 3 days. No biggie. As I was telling her, my oldest, my little over 3, said something like, no, mommy, Big Daddy ate blah, 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 too. The lady asked me if my son was talking about my baby. I said, yes. She raised her voice and told me, I'm a terrible mother for calling my chubby baby a nickname like that, and that I'm going to cause him severe depression one day for making fun of him. Yet she called him my chubby baby. Anyway, I was in disbelief and we left. 2 days later, CPS contacts my husband, captain in the Army. Not only are they going to search my house that day, but they also made me take my kids to the med clinic where they removed their clothes to check for signs of physical abuse. They cleared me of that and followed me home and did a pretty quick search. When I asked them who called them, I was told they cannot tell, but one did say for me, please not let one bad experience keep me from getting the assistance we need. So the next day I got the WIC lady fired. Okay. Oh, well, that's different. That's a different answer there. That's a different answer. Here's another good question. What are the consequences if someone refuses to cooperate with the child protection services, the system, during the investigation, but wants to keep their children? Dustin Hilton answered this. He got his 2 kids back from foster care. It was a core issue of my case. I hid the children for over 2 weeks. Resistance will bolster the narrative they've already created. They existed in a protective world of obfuscation, lies, and logical fallacy, where you have to prove innocent. Thus, the presumption that denial, resistance, combativeness, and animosity is evidence of guilt. The judge literally stated that she didn't understand the lack of cooperation by my ex, myself, while threatening termination of parental rights. I think it made more sense after she learned that my ex had been a foster child and seen that accusations and heard that story. We even cited the statistics of foster care being more dangerous than neutral parents. She fought and lost. I started playing along and got it back. They do not comprehend the magnitude of their action. They don't understand the threat they have made against you, against your family, and civilization. They cannot outlegal you. It costs you everything and then nothing. Oh, it costs you everything and them nothing. You're right. You're right. That is kind of a sad part. Let's see what Felicia said. Felicia, who's cruel, says, "What can I do? While I wait to save enough money to retain attorney Davis, I've been in talks with Georgette the past few days." Okay, Georgette's one of her people that helps out Mr. Davis. What you can do is educate yourself. Listen to my podcast, listen to Vincent's podcast, spend hours and hours on the internet learning all about your case locally, wherever your CPS is. Now, since I have no more questions, I'll go back to Cora again here. Here's one. Here's the question: Does Children Protective Services ever come to the hospital, the child protection system? Emma, who has 10 years of studying CPS after they took her 2 kids, gave this answer. Yes, they do. Many times you'll be will warn about the fact that one of the hospital's workers called them and they'll just show up and start to watch you and ask you questions. If this happens, record everything that happens. Keep a very accurate record of your child, and everything that happens to when CPS comes into your life. It'll save you in the end if it comes to that. I cannot express enough record everything. Also, never sign up anything. They'll ask you to sign up. It's usually a way of manipulating you into signing over your parental rights. Temporarily, they can take your child from you if they decide to take you the broken, very corrupt family court. You also never, ever let them into your home, even if they tell you that they have a warrant, and even if they have policemen with them. They'll not come into your home because the warrant they speak of is not real. I hope they do not come to the hospital. But I'm just remembering, if they show up, do exactly the same thing as later. No signing anything, record everything, and they'll continue to bother you and continue to your home. Do not ever let them in. You cannot also call American Corpse. It is a place that keeps your baby safe from the hands of CPS. They will know what to do. If you happen to reside in Phoenix, Arizona, it's called Hushabye Nursery. Good luck with AmeriCorps. Okay, there's a new one called AmeriCorps. I got to look that up. I haven't heard of that before. AmeriCorps. Let's see what AmeriCorps says on the internet. AmeriCorps. AMericorps. CORPS. Okay. I think I have it. Okay, AmeriCorps is. They work with local and national partners to tap the power of American people to tackle our country's most pressing challenges. Let's see what Wiki says about them. Oh, brother. Now Wiki says they need money. Um, phew. Well, I can't read it because Wiki is something wrong with that. So let me see if I can get another question answer here. Okay, here's another question. Does CPS require a child to have their own room? And this is answered by the Psychic Enlightenment, whoever that is. This will vary from city to state. In Ohio, unless the requirement has been changed fairly recently, a child above the age of 2 years must have their own room. Let's see here. So at the age of 2, they must have their own room. Back when I owned a rental property, I once asked the social worker what the basis of the requirement was. Generally speaking, the basis was based on United States cultural norms. Very strong reading according to what I was told, that a 2-year-old was getting too old to be in the same room as the parents, where the parents were having normal adult sexual acts. Oh boy. Now, just to make sure I have not misunderstood the intent of this question, Ohio also has restrictions on how old siblings of different genders were allowed to sleep in the same rooms. For example, a 15-year-old sister and a 16-year-old brother would not be allowed to sleep by state rules in one bedroom, even if they had separate beds. Also, the state has rules defining how many children can sleep in the same bedroom based on the requirements and number of square feet per child in their bedroom. I do not remember the exact limitations, but let's pretend that at a particular age, the state may require 75 floor meter per child in a bedroom, and the number of children get rounded down, not up in this process. So a bedroom adds 200 square feet, so using the 75 foot requirement, the room size would not generate a okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to ready to close my podcast. I want to thank Felicia for joining me. She's cruel on the YouTube handle. I want to thank Joanne Wild, who's Diana. She's going to call me in later. And I want to thank her for being in this room. Let me see. I think we had another gentleman that says he's going to call back in later. Now, Juvie Wild is from Texas, San Antonio, Texas. So she'll be talking later. But I thought I had another person in the room, but it's now disappeared. I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, I want you all to take care of yourself. God bless you. Do not give up fighting for your kids. I'll be on again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There'll be a short little blurb from Vincent Davis after I sign off. God bless you all. Bob Pace.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session for school, SKOOL, and this is the CPS school.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Join our school community for free to access weekly live Q&A sessions, or participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.